Welcome to Channeling Journeys with Dira Romania, where we embark on transformative explorations into the realm of channeling and its profound impact on personal growth and healing. I'm your host, Roxana Pogor, and today we're privileged to be joined by Tiffany Price Murray, a remarkable individual whose journey through addiction led her to discover the healing power of channeling. Tiffany's path into channeling began as the quest for inner peace and spiritual understanding. Inspired by her own struggles, she embarked on a journey of self-discovery that ultimately led her to the transformative practice of channeling. Throughout our conversation, Tiffany demystifies the concept of channeling, shedding light on its true essence and how it operates. She shares how channeling became a vital tool in her journey to recovery, helping her to confront and heal the deep-seated wounds that fueled her addiction. But Tiffany's journey doesn't stop here. She has seamlessly integrated channeling practices into her daily life, experiencing positive changes that extend far beyond her own healing journey. Through her involvement in a program aimed at helping teenagers navigate life's challenges, Tiffany has witnessed firsthand the profound impact of channeling techniques on young minds. Additionally, Tiffany's initiative, Meditation Mondays in Schools, is making waves in the education system, bringing mindfulness and meditation to students and empowering them to find peace and clarity amidst life's chaos. Looking to the future, Tiffany envisions a world where channeling continues to play a pivotal role in personal growth, healing, and spiritual development. Her journey serves as a beacon of hope and inspiration for all who seek to harness the power of channeling for positive transformation. Join us as we embark on this enlightening conversation with Tiffany Price Murray, exploring the profound depths of channeling and its transformative potential. Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, Roxana.
So, Tiffany is an impressive soul that managed to heal her addiction through channeling through Dira method. She helps teenagers to navigate through life's challenges. She's conducting channeling and meditation programs through schools, and she's creating programs as well for addiction in teenagers and inmates. And she is successfully soon graduating level 7 in Dira in professional channeling. So welcome, my love. Mwah.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Roxana. I'm just so grateful to be here. And I feel so fortunate to be here with you.
I feel so fortunate as well. And thank you for the mirroring. And please, as we start, please let us know, how did you get to channeling? What happened? Please tell us a little bit about your life before channeling and during and perhaps after.
Yeah, so when you're looking back, it's really hard to decide when was the exact moment when you were brought to channeling, because if you look back, then you're like, it really started a lot sooner and a lot longer ago than I thought that it did. And it makes you feel like it was always the intention all along that you were going to reach this place where channeling was a part of your everyday life. But I would say that it really started when I was invited to a party by Luby's sister, Sherry. And at the time, Sherry and I, we weren't particularly close. Our children were friends, and so we knew each other from school and events. And we were good. Not like now. We're very, very close now, of course. But at that time, she had invited me to a party because her sister was coming from Oman, and I felt honored to be invited to the party. I was like, yeah, of course I'm gonna go. Of course, this is so exciting that Sherry would invite me to her house. And then I didn't really think much about it. I read the Facebook post and I thought, oh, channeling, blissful experience, you connect to divine, you do all of these things. And I was reading it and saying, I don't really know what any of that means. And so I decided I would go anyway. And this was about a month before the party was happening. So we get to the day, it's the day before the last day of school. I'm running around furiously around town and trying to pick up all the things for the kids and get them ready for the summer. And all of a sudden I look on my phone and I realize that the party is today. And I'm like, oh, oh my God, today. I can't believe that I forgot all about it. And then I look at my watch and I'm like, oh my goodness, I am 25 minutes away. I'm going to be late for this party. There's no way I'm going and showing up late and being exactly like my mother. Okay. And I feel like that divine gives you these opportunities. They're like sliding doors moments where they say, okay, Tiffany, are you ready for this? Like, are you
Yes.
ready? Or are you going to keep playing out the patterns of, oh, I'm always late. I'm just like my mother. I'm this, I'm that. I'm not good enough. I'm going to roll into all of these people that I don't really know and show up late. And it's going to be this big deal. Or are you ready for something completely new? And it's like that moment where you have to make the decision. Am I going to keep playing out old patterns? Or am I ready for this new thing? And I said, no, I'm doing it. I'm not going to let this hold me back. And I jumped in my car, my old car, for some reason I don't even understand, but I drove all the way there. I'm like driving, speeding on the road. I get there and nobody is there. Like literally, there were
Oh
two
no.
people. So me being late was in my head. It was all in my head. This programming that I am always late, that, I had it going in my head. And when I got there, the reality was that that was not the truth. So I arrived there and there's all these beautiful women. They're sitting there. I come in, the other people are coming in. There's more people arriving. And I go and sit in this chair in the sunshine and I look over and there are these two women that I don't know, but I start speaking to them and they start telling me, oh, if something is going to come through, you might have to push for your questions to be answered because, there's going to be a lot of people here. And they were really talking about mediumship. Like they thought that Luby was going to have people come through and people in the past, like
Yes.
come
So
to
typical.
give messages. And we had this conversation. All of a sudden, it came to find out that this woman knew my grandfather, who had passed like 10 years before that. He used to
Whoa.
sing in her kitchen when she was a little girl because he was a famous singer. He was on television for 13 years and in Canada, he was kind of a big deal. And so she was like, I can't believe that you're Lauren White's granddaughter. And he used to sing in my kitchen. And I can't even believe this. And it was almost like my grandfather coming through to tell me I was in the exact right place that I needed to be in that moment. And that I was exactly where I needed to be. So I'm sitting in this chair. And all of a sudden, everyone is in the room. And Luby comes and sits, who I've never met before. She comes and sits directly right next to me. And she explains, channel, I'm going to do this. I'm going to open up. I'm going to allow what is coming through me, divine source and all this
Yes.
stuff. And she goes into channel and literally, I don't know if you saw her at the beginning, but she wouldn't blink her eyes
Yes.
for,
Yes.
blinked her eyes like 5 times in 2 hours. I was like, what is going on? This is wild. And she proceeded to open up her channel and I could feel the energy radiating off of her and I could feel it coming through my body. Like I literally had my hands clasped together in my lap and I had to take my hands away because the energy was pooling in the center of my hands with my hands together, just radiating off of her. And I sat mesmerized, just listening to every word that she said. And hearing those words had never made more sense to me than ever before. I had gone to church for 20 years and nothing made sense to me the same way as it did coming from Luby and hearing those words. I think even that day, I may have asked the first question, but she proceeded to just pour onto me truth like I had never heard it before. And it was undeniable in that moment that I was experiencing source. Like there was no doubt in my mind. I was literally sitting next to her, just being in complete awe that this was happening to me in this moment. So after 2 hours, we left. I got in my car. I was driving away in the dark. I'm calling my best friend, going, "You are what just ever happened to me. My car breaks down in the middle of the night, leaving Sherry's house. I'm on the side of the road. These two drunk guys come to rescue me, these like knight in shining armor. The police
Oh my
come, the
God.
tow truck is there. There's like this whole big chaos. And I'm like beaming. I'm going, okay, it doesn't matter. My car's broken. It doesn't matter that I'm like hitching a ride with this tow truck, that there's these like drunk guys, that there's the police in the ditch. And there's all of these things happening. And I get home and my mom is standing there in front of me. And she's like, okay, because my car that I had left home was also dead. And she had to come and boost me so that I could drive the kids to school the next morning. And she arrived there. And I think that it happened only so that she could see my faith in that moment. That she was like, where were you? What were you doing? Why were you out so late? You left the kids home, like you're home at 11 o'clock. What is going on? Tiffany, you're different. What's happening? Like, because she could see on my face that I had changed in that moment.
Yes.
She was, what is going on with you? And then 2 days later, I went back and I learned how to channel. And really, it completely changed my life. My third day of channel, Divine, my best friend who I'd called, was witnessing for me. And Divine said to me, you will go to Oman. And I was like, I'm not going to Oman. What are you talking about? I am in Canada. Like, there's no way I'm traveling to Oman. And I was like, okay, you know what? Who knows? Me, I don't know. Like, this is crazy. I'm gonna write it down. And I decided in the moments after I'd learned channel that I would do a 30-day channeling experiment where I would channel every day for 30 days and I would document. I would write down the time of day, how long I was in channel. I've recorded every single channel. I would transcribe all the messages Divine was giving me. I would try it sitting up, laying down, being in the sun, being at night, being in day. I was trying all of these things to see which way was the best way for me to channel. And I was writing, documenting every single thing. And then I had written it down, like, you will go to Oman. Here is this dragonfly that I saw, this massive dragonfly, and then this blue lace over my eyes. And then it was like, you will follow the path of the pharaohs. And I was like, I don't even know what the path of the pharaohs is, really.
Oh my God.
And
Yes.
yeah. And so then I go, by the end of my 30-day experiment, I had bought my ticket to Oman. I was signed up for level 1. I was going traveling away by myself without my kids, without my husband, to go to Oman and do level 1. And at the end of the 30 days, I was just like, that is the most incredible thing that has ever happened. I was already different within 30 days, but then level 1, level 1 totally changes your whole life.
Yes, it does indeed. I can subscribe for this story and to listen all over again, because everybody that was at level 1 in Oman has the same story. Their life changed completely after.
Yeah, for sure. I think when I came home from level 1, the biggest thing I noticed maybe was you don't realize how much you are living in fear or living in anxiety about things that are completely out of your control until it's gone. And then when you've released all that fear and that anxiety is gone and you're like in this resting state of peace and stillness, you're like, what is going on? I didn't realize that I had lived my entire life before that point in varying states of anxiety. Like low level anxiety, but to the point where at Christmas, like my hair would fall out because I was so stressed about having everything perfect and having the right presents and the right food and the right decorations and everything. And then all of a sudden you're like, why did I even care about those things?
Yes.
It's about love and being with people and sharing. And you just, as soon as it's gone, you have a totally different feeling about all of those things. Like, it shifts your perspective
Totally.
completely on its head,
And what happened at level 1? What were the changes?
Right? So level 1 for me was huge. I am a traveler. I've always traveled. And then, of course, you have children, you get married. You don't really do as much traveling on your own as maybe you would have before. This was the first time that I had traveled by myself in 15 years since I had had my child. And so getting on the plane, which is super funny too, because I decided to bring one book in Audible, and it was Joe Dispenza's Becoming Supernatural. And as I'm listening on the plane, it's literally explaining the process of channel and what I'm about to go and do it, Dira. I had no idea. My friend gifted me this book, and then here I am on the plane. I'm like, is this what I'm going to do? This is so incredible. The one book that I was gifted is now exactly perfectly what I needed to hear. And I got there, and I arrived in Oman. I didn't know anybody. I barely knew Luby. I had only spent like 2 hours with her in my entire life. And then here I am. I'm in Muscat. I'm walking from Coram Beach all the way to Luby's house. I'm standing outside Casa Dira. It's so beautiful. It's like majestic. Everything is new. I had never, ever been to the Middle East before. And I'm standing outside and I'm like, what am I doing? Again, sliding doors moment. I'm like, I don't think I can do this. I don't know any of these people. What am I doing here? This is like a little bit out of my comfort zone. And then Suchitra drives in the driveway, and she comes out and she goes, "Are you looking for Dira?" And she goes, "Oh, come in." And she pulls me in off the street, standing there looking like a deer in headlights.
She's the sweetest. Suchi is the sweetest.
She's like, "You're in the right place. You're here. You're in." And she like grabs me. She gives me a big hug and she goes, "Okay, come this way." Because I didn't even know where I was going, like, and it's sort of overwhelming when you arrive. And then as soon as I walked in the house, I knew I was exactly where I was meant to be. I knew in that moment I felt so safe. Sharifa and Kauthar and everyone that was there. And then I saw Natalia, who of course, living in Colombia. Natalia was there, and instantaneously her and I connected. And it was just, there was so much peace. I felt like I knew I was in the exact right place, and the transformation happened to me in that 9 days was so radical. Like, we do exercises there, and we do a healing exercise, and I literally healed the include or the protrusion that I had in my stomach that was like it was popping out a little, and it went away. It's never come back. Never.
Swept in. Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's so many things, when you're in that space where you can just be free and be completely yourself. You let everything go, and you just are shining. You're dancing and you're laughing, and there's so much joy. I don't think I had ever experienced that much unrepressed joy, just like coming out of people, and the laughter and the love and the service to others. I did a video because I used to do Tiffany's Epiphanies on Facebook, and I used to do little videos every week. And I did a video that comes up every year in my memories. And it was when I was in Oman. I was like, this concept, this idea, how these people are living, it has the power to heal the world. We can change the world just by this, like radical love and acceptance, no judgment, and then having service to others. You just do to others, and it's magic. It's like magic.
It's incredible, because you remember at the end of the parties, we are all sitting at the tables and we are wondering how we are going to explain to people what is happening here. We don't need to explain, they need to come to experience this, or we are going to go into the world and swing our love through this channeling method. Otherwise, they really have to try it. They really have to try it, because they are going to stick in.
It's true. It's so true. I remember Luby saying once upon a time, you don't have to do anything. Your light will just shine through you. And I was like, I don't understand, because I'm a doer. I'm a doer. I have lists. I have things that I have to do. This is pre-Dira. I would make lists. I could write books, my life in lists, and I have lists everywhere. And then all of a sudden you shift from doing to being, and the doing all happens, but it's through your being kind, being generous, being open, being thoughtful, being precise, being disciplined, being all of these things, where no longer you're not chasing the doing and doing and doing, and which never gets done, but if you be these things, all of a sudden you're radiating a different vibration that is undeniable to people. So I work at a restaurant in Bridgewater called La Casera, and there are people that come up to me and they say, wow, you really, really love what you do. It is obvious because you just are shining and radiant. And I go, I love all of life. Yes, I love what I do, but I love life. Like I love you. I love the trees, the animals. I love my chefs. I love everyone. I love food. I love moving. I love all of the aspects that when you pull them together, you're like, this beautiful thing that has been created through us by divine is literally magic. When you look at the synchronicities and the things that are all coming together, it it is really amazing. And it's true. It's true. People see that we are different. They see the light
Yes.
shining through us and they say, what is it about you? There's something about you. Well, it's literally divine radiating from our pores out of our body in
True.
this light.
People were asking me like, what did you smoke? Like nothing. I'm just happy. I'm in channel. That's it. Nothing
Exactly.
else, I swear.
Right? Exactly. And I hope for the entire world, that people choose to take up this opportunity, that they are the ones that say, wow, I want what you've got. And they realize that the power is within them. Like we can present and offer and have all of these opportunities, but really it's up to you in the end to make the decision that this is what it's those sliding doors moments. Are you ready? Divine will always give you the opportunity and say, are you ready? Are you ready now? I'm calling you closer to me. I'm calling you from within to allow all of these things to come out.
Yes, totally, totally. And please, please let us know or explain to us how channeling helped you to heal your addiction because you mentioned this to me before. This is the story that I 100% love. I'm in love with this story.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how did you get to do all the levels in channel? You are so brave.
Oh, yeah. So you know what? I had lived many of my younger years in darkness and confusion. I had depression and anxiety. I really struggled to know myself. I went through a period of time where I found myself in raving and all night dance parties and with house music. And I didn't even realize at the time, as I'm standing in front of these massive speakers, pumping out house music and dancing with all of these people, that what I was seeking, you know, the unity, the love, the radical acceptance was vibrations. It was these high vibrations of these things. And everyone's like, oh, vibes, vibes. I had no idea they were really talking about vibrations and that unity of people coming together in community. And that time of life where we were all raving and there was this underground club scene and everything was happening, it was so special. There was the downside, which was the drugs and the alcohol and the abuse and that type of thing that was so prevalent within that community, which really, we have to have the shadow and the light in order to know the light, right? So I can see the parts that it was bringing me to, but it also had that darkness that I had to release. And so I did leave that scenario and spent a lot of my life later on in the cycles of addiction and with alcohol and predominantly alcohol. And I can remember the day that I decided that I was done. I had been trying to convince myself that it wasn't a problem. I didn't have a problem. Everything was okay. I was managing, I was functioning. I had beautiful children. I didn't drink alone, which meant I was just always with my friends and creating these amazing events and having any excuse to drink and partake. But what I didn't realize is that I was trying to escape my life. Like I was trying to get to a place where I could just relax, or I convinced myself that, that was the only way that I was going to find peace or stillness, or how I could just genuinely be myself. Because without drugs or alcohol, how do I just be free and be all of the things that I want to be? Fabulous Tiffany. And then I didn't really realize how with the light, the darkness, it really, really pulls you down. And when I realized that it was a problem and that I had to stop, you go through anger and disappointment and stuff, and then you get through anger and it turns into rage, and then the rage turns into violence. And then when there's like a violence, then it's like a wake up call. It's like, are you ready now? Is this your low point? Is this the time you're going to make the change? Oh, okay. Because then it escalates and escalates. I am a firm believer that divine always shows us that when we're not on the right path, when we're not moving in the direction of our soul, and that things will consistently get worse and worse and worse and worse. And then they say, are you ready now? Are you ready now? Are you ready to see it now? All the time. And when you have that moment, for me, I realized that this version of me was not who I wanted to be. And it was not who I was. It was just the way I was behaving. And that really started my journey. And when I had found channel, I was pretty new to my most recent effort in trying to live in sobriety. I had only been sober for about 6 months, but that was the window that I needed in order for divine to be like, okay, are you ready now?
Yeah, true.
And at that time, I definitely was, and I had lived in that cycle for so long, the neural pathways in your brain. It's always the easiest to just go take the easiest path of less resistance. And you're like, oh, this is what I do on the weekends. This is what I do at the club. This is what I do with my friends. This is what I do at birthday parties and at barbecues and all of these things. But then when you start trying to forge new neural pathways, it is a challenge, and it is something that you have to work on. And it definitely didn't happen overnight, but channeling absolutely is creating new neural pathways for you. All you have to do is sit there and be in the light. And channeling is reprogramming your brain to be your highest version. And all of a sudden, I woke up one day and I was like, I'm not actually the same person that I was. I'm not the same person who was labeled as an addict, who was living in those cycles of addiction, who now that doesn't mean that I hadn't had relapses. So of course I would spend a period of time not drinking, and then I would have one drink and it would relapse me into the cycle of binging and debauchery. And all it would take was one drink for the slippery slope to happen, where all of a sudden I was reverting back to those strong pathways that had been repeated over and over and over, almost on auto drive, right? And so then when I can see now that every single relapse that I had, I was able to learn the lesson that was presented, that the reason why it was happening for me, rather quickly. So I was really fortunate because of channel to be able to see the patterns that were happening and say, okay, this is why this is happening. This is what I need to learn, and this is where I'm going. So I could leave it behind me. And every time I value my relapses, the 4 that I had, I value them so much. And even the last, and with every one, they were less severe. The first one, it was so dramatic, and it was the dark night of my soul. And it was a year long of like pain and suffering and trauma, and just being like, how did I come off this high and now I'm so low? How do I get out of this kind of thing, where you can't even really see the light at the end of the darkness? And then my most recent one, just 2 weeks ago, I decided I would have a drink. I had a drink, and then I didn't have another one. I was like, wow, that's new.
That's good.
And I had no desire to even have another one. Now, I'm not suggesting that people do that unless they're prepared for what comes afterwards, because I think it took me 3 or 4 years of healing with channel in order to get to the point where I know that version of me is not me. So the version of me who would just go on a binge for a week after one drink is not who I am right now. So it's easy for me to be like, oh, I'm not that person. But for other people in the starting points of their addiction, it's a little bit different. It's definitely a process that happens. And when I am in awareness that I am not that version, I just am a different person. I am not the person who lives in those cycles. I am free from addiction. I am free. And I will live the rest of my days free from that mental anguish, the chatter that continues to run and
Mm.
run in your head. Because I always told people I didn't have a problem with drinking. I had a problem with not drinking.
Yes.
Like, I didn't have a problem with drinking. I loved drinking. I was like, woo, woo, I'm like the best I've ever been, until you become the best you've ever been. And then you're like, I wasn't really that great when I
Yeah.
was, because now I can be me and be free and be all of these things without the alcohol, which is an even higher version of me, which feels so much better. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not hurting myself. I'm being productive. I'm being active. I'm being the best I can possibly be without this. And I do believe you need to know the darkness in some way in order to know the light.
Exactly. Totally. And I love you so much. And you are so brave. And I really love how you explain the process as a normal healing process through addiction, like how you go from A to Z and all the letters in between. There can be
Mhm.
relapse, or they can be better days, sunny days, happier
Mhm.
days, or not, but either way you are on a process. And I think it's very important for people after listening this podcast to learn that this is a process. It's just a process, and don't be harsh on yourself.
For
as
sure.
long as as long as you want to do this, as you want to heal yourself, then everything is going to be fine in the end. Just keep up. And it's really beautiful how channeling it is helping us to do this, because addiction, it's not just alcohol addiction, drug addiction, it is also anxiety and depression addiction. You are
Yeah.
even if you are depressive, it is still an addiction to be depressive. And that's it, just to be low because you like to be low. It's an addiction, right? So it is very brave for you to say this. It is going to help so many people.
Yeah.
So
And it's important.
thank you.
It's important to note that, like, the collective that we're in right now, we're in the yellow vibration, which is of solar plexus, and
True.
that is addiction, right? So the collective is experiencing this as our shadow to overcome, is this addiction. I mean, you can look at the kids with their phones, and the
Yep.
and the crisis of like Oxycontin or fentanyl or those
Yes.
those things. It's all around the world that people are struggling, whether it's like with pornography or sex, or like, there are so many aspects of addiction that people, they just want to be loved. People just want to be seen, they want to be heard, and they want to be loved. And it starts with loving yourself first. Because if you can't, I mean, RuPaul said it, you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else? Right? So
Yes.
it really starts with us. And it has been put on me, that someday divine will bless me and I will create a program for addiction. And I have a dream that I will create these houses. They're called freedom houses, and that it will be community living of people who have gone through a rehabilitation program, but that after their rehabilitation, they have recognized that they want to remain living in sobriety, and that they want to do it with other like-minded people, and that it will be all based on Dira protocol, that it'll be based on being able to channel and having that aspect of your life being a part of your everyday life, and the celebration of, our dance parties and that type of thing, and encouraging each other, and radical acceptance. And that through that people can heal and just be in a place where they're supported after a rehabilitation process. Yeah.
So beautiful. I really
Yeah.
love that you are in the 7 level channeling program at Dira. I find it so amazing. Honestly, by now, for sure, like 100% channeling it is part of your life every single second, isn't it? How do
Yeah.
you integrate channeling into your life? Because
It's
perhaps people will find it so extraterrestrial to do this, right? And they cannot believe that we can stay in channel always, like every single second. How do you deal with that? How would you explain it?
right. It's true. I think that really that is the process for the 7 levels, is being able to expand your capacity to hold channel for longer and longer and longer times. And that is one of the aspects of each level, is that you commit and have a dedicated time for channel each day that expands bigger and bigger and bigger, until in level 7 I'm in channel all the time. Like, there is never a time when I am not in channel. I have trained myself to know the voice of divine and the voice of my ego. As soon as my ego starts up, I'm like, excuse me, sit down a second, not you. Like, it's not your turn, sit down. And I recognize, because I've also done all the work to reprogram my belief system to be in line with divine and infinite capacity and abundance and all of the things that are in line with divine, that every time my ego says something that is against that, it's like a signal in my brain. I know immediately. I'm like, whoa. And so I hear every one of those thoughts. It's not like your subconscious mind, when your subconscious beliefs and your ego are in line, it's just normal. All of that chatter in your head that keeps going, oh, I'm not enough, oh, I need more, oh, this isn't happening, oh, I'm disappointed, oh, this is, I don't have anything to live for, to be happy about, I need more, people need to love me, all of these things. If that's what you believe, and your mind tells you that all the time, it's just constantly reinforcing. When all of a sudden you change those beliefs and you're like, I'm a divine being of light. I'm the most magnificent thing that has walked the earth, and I can love everyone everywhere just by being me. Then all of a sudden, when your ego goes, oh, girl, you don't look pretty today, you're like, excuse me? Who do you think you're talking to? You
Yes,
know?
I can see that for myself as well.
Right. And I think that it is the process of being open to divine all the time, to allow divine to just move through you in this incredible river of light. Now, there's a difference between being in channel and sitting down to channel, because, of course, there is benefit in not doing anything but just sitting in stillness and allowing yourself to just be in the experience of stillness and love and white light. And I just love to put on classical piano music in my headphones and sit in white light, because it is a feeling, like the energizing that you feel. You're like, I could take on the world right now. you
True,
know?
I do the same. I love the classical music during channel because the classical music is channeled,
Yes.
into the highest
Yeah,
vibrations.
absolutely, for sure.
And
So I feel really lucky. Everything flows. Everything is, doesn't mean there's not challenges.
mm,
Obviously, I'm still in the process for lifetime, forever, for all my lifetimes, for, because expansion is infinite. It's never ending. But I feel like the patterns that I'm meant to be seeing are coming up right away, and that the messages that divine has for me, I'm hearing, I'm seeing, whether it's in books that I'm reading, whether it's in songs, whether it's in people that I meet, that divine is orchestrating and synchronizing in every way, in everything in our life. Like, divine is in and of all things. There is nothing outside of divine. It's all one. So the messages can come in in any way. Yeah.
yeah, that it's true. That it is so true because also my clients are always asking me, so Roxana, how do I know I'm in channel? Well, look for the signs as well. Look to the sun, draw something, sing, listen to music, and then you are going to find your messages as well because divine it's everywhere, everywhere, like literally. And I also love how how did you get into the teenagers programs, like into schools? How your community is seeing this? It's so amazing. It's like, whoa, it's next level education.
Yeah, I feel really lucky. I actually have two teenagers of my own, which I have to admit I've been really lucky with them because everyone talks about teenagers, but my teenagers are pretty amazing and incredible, and I wouldn't trade them in for anyone else. And they have such a strong group of friends that they've grown up with their whole lives, who have known me their whole lives. I literally dropped my daughter off at school this morning, and I saw like 10 kids came running up to me to give me a hug when I was dropping her off. They're like, so long. And so one of my son's very good friends, actually, his mom runs the Schools Plus program, which is for at-risk youth or people that they've identified that maybe have mental health issues or have issues at home or have, abundance, scarcity issues and stuff like that. And so she actually knew that this is what I do, and she invited me to come and do a session last summer for their kids that they have coming for this program. So that was my first one. It was totally outside of my comfort zone, but they were all super sweet. And then over the year, we talked about doing a meditation Mondays at the school where the kids would come in. We would do 10 minutes at the start of lunch, and that it would prepare them for their whole week. So we just do like a little exercise, and we talk about whatever divine has on my heart, and then we do the exercise. And the largest number that we had last year, because we did it, I think we ran it 10 weeks, and we had 33 students without even having any sort of promotion or marketing. It was just word of mouth. It was all of the kids' friends and stuff like that.
Wow.
So yeah, I anticipate we're starting this Monday coming up, and I anticipate this year we'll be able to build on that number as well, and then have the kids come and sort of share around. And yeah, it's really, really exciting. I have a lot of really great teenagers in my life. And then, of course, Eva, who was dating my son a few years back, she has been participating in Dira and doing the retreats with us. And she is the
Oh,
one that is she's been helping Luby and I do the Dira Teens program through the Dira website that we'll be launching hopefully by the end of the year. It's again a process. But she's been helping with the introductions and the meditations, and then we're doing the worksheets together. So it's been really great. I feel really fortunate to have so many teens in my life, but they have needs. They are navigating a world that the media is telling them one thing, and then the news is telling them that everything has gone to, like, that there's no hope, and that that there is nothing that they can do, and they feel all burdened by how they're supposed to navigate rising costs of food and housing, and where they're supposed to live, and how they're supposed to manage in a world, what jobs they're supposed to do with AI taking things from them that they
true.
feel, would have been their path potentially, but now the world is changing at such a fast rate that they feel kind of lost. So this modality of being able to do Dira channeling in school, it really grounds them, and it brings them to a place where they can have the golden light in their heart, and they can, in spite, nobody's judging them on their choices, whether they're smoking weed or whether they're skipping
Yeah.
school, or nobody cares. It doesn't matter. Who cares? You just show up, and we love you exactly the way that you are. And in channel, none of that stuff matters. The light is within.
So they use channeling in their lives, right? Like after school as well, isn't it?
Yep. So I actually was invited to come and do a meditation with the football team. So my son plays football, and the Parkview team was there. And so I did a great meditation for all of those boys, recorded and shared it with them. Then I was invited to go to Brigadoon camp, where there were kids from all over the county that came to a camp, and we did like a 2-hour session where they are being taught tools that they can use, even just golden breath, you know, like you stop yourself and like you can do it anywhere in the corner in the hallway. Nobody will know if you just touch your heart and you breathe in golden light and then exhale shadow. It's so simple, 3 breaths, and it just resets you. You know, if something phases you, you can be centered again into your heart with this golden breath. So we've really focused on trying to give them tools that they will be able to carry on outside of their school life. And this year I'm going to be really focusing on that, having the recordings available that will also be available with the Dira Teens program on the website. And hopefully they'll be able to have some tools in their toolkit that they can use all over.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I really want to expand more about this subject, and also how do you want, or how do you see helping inmates, for example, further in their lives? Like, this is such a juicy subject, honestly.
Right. Yeah. So I believe that the goal for all of humanity is to raise the vibration higher and higher so that we can be open and experience higher levels of light. And that's sort of like the process of evolution and ascension that we're on here, is to be able to hold higher levels of light. So when you look at people who are living in cycles that are either living in high vibration or low vibration, and you look at the people who have the lowest vibration on earth right now, it would be displaced people, it would be teenagers that are trying to find themselves, it would be people that are in the cycles of addiction, and then it would also be people that have been incarcerated in jails and that for whatever reason have found themselves in a situation where they are in jail. So it was put on me by divine, and I had this beautiful vision. And they said actually by 2025 that I would be implementing a program nationwide that would be actually teaching inmates how to channel. Because my idea is that if we can raise the vibration of the people that are at their lowest, then it raises the collective that much more, that much higher, that much faster, that much. It makes the most difference because you're raising the vibration of the people that are at the bottom, instead of saying, oh, you have resources, you have this, you have options and all of this stuff, and then it raises a little bit. Yes, of course we want to do that too, but if we start at the bottom and we love the unlovables, or we show the people that, you know, are down and out, that they are loved too, that they matter and they're just as important as anybody else, that we have the greatest impact. So my idea is that I'm currently writing a proposal for my premier, Tim Houston in Nova Scotia, that I would create a program that would be a 6-month trial for the jail that is the local jail here, that we would teach them how to channel, and that they would do 6 weeks, once a week, of a program of, you know, open session where they could ask questions and then do an exercise. That you would do 6 weeks, and then you would wait then 6 weeks to see and ask them at the end of that 12 weeks whether or not they noticed a difference in their own lives, how they feel about themselves, how they feel about the people around them, how they feel about the world, how they feel about their outlook, and what they will do afterwards. And that you would use that as a baseline to create the proposal for the nationwide program, that you would then go, I would travel and go to jails all the way across the country, teaching inmates how to channel. And of course, it's a voluntary program because you can't make people be ready. They're either ready or they're not. But the
Yes.
idea that if you teach people to channel in jail, you're changing them within themselves, them within the jail within the community within the greater, and then the greater province within the country, right? So you're actually starting from within the person, the jail, and that they're healing from the inside out, and that they have the greatest potential for influence within themselves on the people that they are around, surrounded in the jail. And it's like, you know, it's just like, it's undeniable to notice that we have had a change. It will be undeniable to notice that they also are shifting and changing and moving into a new thing. And I believe that it has the power. It's not for the people outside to be coming in and saying, this is what you have to do. It's like,
Yes.
here's the guidance, here's an opportunity. Do you want to, are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Come on, are you ready yet? And that we give them the opportunity to do it for themselves. We empower them to do it. And I think that if you had something going across the entire country, that you could also, as it grows and grows, you could just do online sessions that all the people that want to then join on after the fact, that you could have regular sessions for exercises, for education pieces, for inductions, that type of thing, that they would have access to resources that would really, really significantly change the face of our jails. And I call it the inmate solution, because the solution is that we have no inmates.
Yes,
Right?
I love it. And I
Right?
really
And
love how, sorry, I really love how the community helps you. Like they are so
right,
supportive. It is so beautiful. Like you are like, oh, and I talked with this and that, and they are going to help me. Of course, we are going to implement this and that, and we are going to channel with inmates. Whoa.
yes, exactly, for sure. So right now, I am in the process of writing the proposal, which is really easy because I just sit down and Divine tells me everything I need to say. I just open up and all the words come. Yeah.
It, it is so beautiful. Also, in Romania, we do work at Dira with psychologists, and some of them they do work with inmates as well. And when they came first time at Dira to learn channeling, they were also like, "Whoa, we can change the world, and we can change how people see inmates and how inmates sees the world, you know." And now
Right.
they are channeling, they are doing also some kind of meditations as much as they can, of course, in order not to lose their jobs, because here in Romania we are not that open minded yet in these institutions, right? Because otherwise we are, of course. And it is beautiful because these psychologists are helping people to change to a better version of themselves. You know, you go to a psychologist, yes, of course, you are working your trauma, but if you have an, I like to call them upgraded psychologist, you know, that they're channeling,
Yes.
like uh, clients' lives changes like enormously and so profoundly, and also working with the inmates, I think it's a next level, I don't know, next level education, honestly,
I
like group
agree.
education. And one of my psychologist clients that works with inmates, she told me like, "Whoa, Roxana, now I understand them, and now they are more calm when they see me, and now they are like literally making a line at my door, you know, and they so excited to start a therapy." Because before they were cursing me, they were making me making me names, you know, and I couldn't hold my session. And now they're there, they are still laughing, you know, because I'm talking about flowers and unicorns, but they are in that energy, you know, that because she has some clients, some inmates clients, right, like criminals. And some of them, they were like, "Lady, I just killed someone and you are trying to make a meditation with me." And she was like, "Yeah, chill, chill, stay there, it's gonna be fine. It's going to be
Yeah.
fine."
Right.
So it's some crazy stuff happening there, but we can make it. And I'm so excited hearing from you that you are telling me that you have a community that supports these changes into spirituality and into a beautiful thing. And yes, as you said, we do have our challenges in life, but with channeling, even though if we address to the inmates life, of course we can fix it. Like we can not necessarily fix it from a I don't know, warrior point of view, no, but you know, trying to go with the flow in channel and into life to feel more happy, to feel more healthy, to feel more aligned with with our mission. And you know that in channel, they are saying to us that, well, everybody has a mission, even though that one is a doctor, or this one is a criminal, or that one is a priest, it doesn't matter. Regardless of the experiences, these are life missions, and we are not supposed to judge. And yeah, it is
Mm,
so beautiful what you do, Tiffany. Thank you.
right. And imagine, Roxana, if all of a sudden you have somebody who is in jail, who has, done something that is their life experience, when all of a sudden they experience something different and become a completely different version of themselves, that all of a sudden has hope for the future and their own potential and their capacity to make a difference in the world, it shifts everything. They're like, if you imagine, divine is giving us all of these things, like, you're going to do this and you're going to do this and this, I'm giving you all of the resources and I'm putting everyone in the way that you need in order for this to happen, and all, and you just have to be open. Imagine what divine is going to be putting on the hearts of these people, who are then like, wow, I can do anything. Anything is possible. Like, this is, I thought my life was going to be like this, and now I know my life is moving in this direction. Like, it's completely opposite.
Yes, totally. And
It's
and
so
it is
exciting.
amazing. It is amazing because when you come to channel, you have a different perspective about your life and about your mission in life. And then you
Absolutely.
get to channel, and suddenly you need to be somebody else, but in actuality you need to be yourself. You transform to your
Mm,
actual self that is supposed to be all along.
right, exactly.
Can be
Yeah.
shocking, of course, because yeah, you say to people, but okay, that inmate had a life before, he had
Mhm.
traumas and stuff, but people will not get you, will not understand you. But when you go
Mm,
into channel, you can see the mirroring. You can see that perhaps
right.
that person took one for you, so you could have a better life. So he just took one for you.
Right. And really imagine that person releasing those layers that are keeping them from divine, and that shedding of that darkness, and that, like, overcoming those life stories, how powerful that is. Like, that has got such a huge potential for change, and huge potential for raising the vibration of the collective. Like, it really has the power to be so impactful.
And of course, and if you look at it, both children and inmates have something in common. They want to be themselves, but society doesn't let them be. And then we come, the adults, the in-betweeners, and we judge. You're supposed to be a kid, and you're supposed to be an inmate, and you're supposed to be this and that, like we are Santa Maria, and nobody judges us. And I also find it so beautiful because you found the balance. You are working with the teenagers, so they will not end up as inmates.
Yes, absolutely. That is the goal.
And then you go to the inmates and you give their power back. You give the wings back to them, so they can
Hmm.
they can become teenagers again, and to start life again from a new point of view, through channeling, through God, through light, through divine, through peacefulness.
Yeah,
I find it so amazing.
right. There's so much that's going to happen here in the next little bit, that the I say, it's like the person pushing the ball up the hill. So you have a big boulder, and you have one person at the beginning that's trying to push this big boulder up the mountain, and you're pushing and you're pushing and you're pushing. And then all of a sudden, another one comes and says, "Oh, let me help you." And then the other one comes and says, "Let me help you." And as you're going up the hill, it gets easier and easier, because you have more people helping you push this big boulder. But then when you get to the top, and it's the tipping point, when all of a sudden you're like, wow, we made it to the top. When it goes over the other side, the momentum that has been built of this big, huge boulder that you've been trying trying to just push to the stars is now unstoppable. It's going to come rolling down, and there won't be any stopping it.
I look forward to this. I
Yeah.
literally look forward to this and to all Dira programs to unfold, and how people are going to follow this path. It is going to be amazing. It is already amazing, but what is coming next?
Right. I know it's true. I say to people who ask me, lots of people, my friends in particular, have asked me, oh, what is channeling like? And what is it like to channel? And I don't push anyone. If people ask me, of course, I'm more than happy to teach anyone and everyone to channel, but it's again a journey and you have to be in the right place. And I say, well, this is the only way I can explain it to you. It's like I lived in a dark, dark cave all of my life in the darkness. And then one day I stepped outside and I saw the sun, and the sun shone down on me, and the warmth I felt was the most radiant, incredible thing I had ever experienced. Even if I go back and live every day in that cave in the darkness again, I will never be able to forget the sun.
Wow, that's deep. That's so profound.
But that's what channel is. I mean, it is like the
You
most
know,
incredible love.
it it's like our clients are saying as well, we tried everything. We tried everything, and then we got channel, and then we stopped here because here is home. And it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable because, of course, you can channel everything every day. There are so many people that are channeling God, that are channeling aliens, that are channeling flowers, unicorns, and whatever. And here are Dira, we are channeling the God within ourselves. And regardless of the type of channeling, everybody finds God within themselves. And this is
Yeah.
beautiful. All this metaphysics and all this quantum physics are explaining the same thing, and we are living it. Can you imagine? We are the living proof that all this, that it is reading, that it is written about channeling. We are living it. It is within us.
Right? And it's the most magical thing that every single one of us has the capacity to do this. And we don't have to do anything, it's already there. We are already perfect and whole and loved. We have everything we need. We can stop searching outside of ourselves for anything because it's already within. We have this capacity. It's like opening the door to like infinite potential and knowledge and riches and possibility. It's literally, I think the biggest change for me was realizing that anything is possible. Anything. My kids make fun of me because I talk about dragons and fairies and like all of these things, and I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand. Anything is possible. So you're the one that's limiting yourself into believing that this is not possible. I believe anything is possible. Anything at all. Everything.
Yes, I do too. Even though, today I had such a stressful day, so I had to cancel my meetings because we were on the last term, with the preparation for the wedding, and then I sat like 5 seconds, 5 seconds. I sat in conscious channel and I asked, Divine, clear my paths today, because
Mm.
at 4 p.m. I need to record the podcast with Tiffany. And I was here, so everything happened so beautifully, and all the people were so nice to us, and they were helping us, and the doctors and the mayor, and everything was so divinely, you know, arranged for us. And I just needed, I stressed a little bit because, we are human beings, right? We are not robots. And then I was like, okay, wait, channel. And then everything cleared and
Yeah.
everything. And I didn't cancel for good the sessions. We just programmed for the next week and everything was fine. And the people was okay, of course, surrender. We are going to help you. We understand you. And everything just happened, you know?
Right.
And even for the stuff and in the store, if I can't find something, I just ask divine, show me where I can find this bread or this milk or this, I don't know, or this fish. And then I'm just conducted there. Okay, it is there. You see, silly, it is over there. So life with channeling, it is so easy. It is so easy. And also at Dira, we do this type of channeling because I just was starting to say it's a therapeutic it's a therapy, sorry, it's a therapy channel,
Hmm.
because we do regression, we do constellations, we do the emotional resolutions, and all these type of therapy methods drawn into one method in channeling, and I believe that this makes a major, I don't know, a major and a critical way to understand that what we do here, beside all that is happening around us, it's more powerful.
Right. Well, that in the understanding that divine is in and of all things, you are in channel, have access
Yes.
to everything. So it's not like in previous times where, let's say, people were channeling spirit guides or channeling certain things that still are within a limited capacity because they are a specific thing or whatever. When you're channeling divine source, it's literally divine is going to do the absolute best, highest thing for you in every moment. So you can trust that every single exercise, every single guidance, every single message is for your highest good, for not only your highest good, but everyone around you, everything around you, for the entire world and cosmos, that it is being perfectly orchestrated for everyone to be in their highest. And I find so much love and joy in that, in just knowing that I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think. Now, it's taken me a long time to get there because there is definitely a moment where you have to be like, oh my gosh, do I trust this? No, I think I can make plans better than divine. I think my
Yeah.
idea is better than divine. I think divine should listen to me. I want this to happen right now. I'm like, and then it's like, no, that moment of surrender where you can let go and it all happens exactly. And the people are there and the places and everything happens in a way that is so much better than you could have imagined. That in that surrender, you just realize like you don't actually need to control anything. You just be who you are, and then everything else happens around you. It's really magic. It really is like magical.
If it needs to be, it will be, either way.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
it is beautiful. I'm so profoundly, I don't know, overwhelmed and grateful for what happened into my life after Dira as well.
Ah, it really saved my life. Like it is a miracle that I am free from addiction. It's a miracle. I can't say it any other way other than it is a miracle. It is the miracle of my life. And I'm so grateful and I feel so blessed. And it is my honor to be in service to others, to help them and show them and give them the tools and the power to accomplish the same thing. It is my fortune to be able to do that.
So grateful. And what advice do you have for someone who is interested in exploring channeling or integrating it into their own healing journey?
I will say one phrase because when we learn how to channel, we're given like an anchor phrase, which we know is it like anchors the light within us, and my light anchor is trust. It is so. And so every time I just say something happens, trust it is so. Trust it is so. Trust it is so. So that is my anytime you have doubt, anytime you have questioning, every time you are confused, or every time you just trust that it is so.
Wow. I felt that into my stomach and into my heart.
Yeah. I love you so much, Roxana. I love you so much. When we are together, we are going to dance and sing and have so much joy and so much hugging. It's going to be electric. They're going to see us from
forward. The room is going to explode when we are going
Yeah.
to meet in person.
Yeah, exactly. I can feel it already.
It's so amazing. We all have this heart so open, when we talk to each other, when we think about another, and when we are there for each other. It is so beautiful, and I love you so much. And I am so grateful for the mirroring. When I first see you online, of course, because we never actually met, yes.
Yeah.
And we
Yes.
are so electrical anyways. And when I first saw you with your recordings, as you said before, on Facebook with Tiffany's Epiphanies, right? Tiffany Epiphanies,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I want to be like her. I want to be so open to talk about my story, to talk about channeling. And then I saw you online on Instagram that you were doing that challenge, or that homework that you had, that task, sorry, that you had.
Yeah.
I
30
don't
days.
remember in which level you had it.
It was I think it was early. It was like or level 3. I think it was my implementation for level 3 that I did 30 days of channeling oneness every day on Instagram. Yeah.
And then I saw you there, and I was like, I want to do that as well. I want to feel so comfortable to talk about channeling, and people could see me channel. And actually, you were such an inspiration for me at that time, because I started as well to channel online, little bit, not like you did, of course. And now with this podcast, I'm working on my throat chakra because I'm at level 5 only.
Amazing.
And it is so beautiful because you inspired me. You totally inspired me. And when you said that channeled, I don't know, help you, literally saved your life, I was like, I felt it into my bones. I was like, I'm your sister, Tiffany. I'm here, because it was the same for me. I don't know. Some people come to channel because they are curious, right? Or
Mhm.
they have some anxiety, perhaps some depression, or perhaps they are like us. They need something in their lives to say that you have to be here. You have to be here. You have to stay. You have to be alive for what is coming next, because you matter. And this is what I felt as well. So that's why it helped me a lot to hear your story, to see you channeling. And this motivated me as well to work on the Dira app that we are soon, inshallah, yeah, we are going to have by the end of the year on App Store.
Amazing. That is so fantastic.
And that we started with the podcast. And thank you for all this mirroring. And I look forward to meet you in person, and come to Romania whenever. Here we are.
Yes.
Okay, come, everybody, come.
I will be there for sure. Absolutely. And I have to thank you so much, Roxana. Honestly, equally as much, I am so inspired by you, and I am so proud of you for everything you're doing and all of your hard work and your education and getting your degree and all of the things, just watching your process and your progress in life. It's been so incredible to see you, and I'm so excited for your upcoming wedding. And I just like everything. I love you so very, very much, and I'm super grateful to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. whatever you see in me exists in you, and vice versa. And it's so much love here. It's so much love. You see, we just went to one level in Oman, and after that, everything is love. You know, you can't
Really?
even fight anymore with people, because after that, you feel bad. Like, okay,
Right.
it wasn't his fault. It was mine because of the mirroring.
It's so true.
We can't even have a proper fight anymore, you
Yeah.
know? We're just like, I'm sorry. It was my fault.
Now I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard. It's so true. Oh, you know what?
Mm,
We're going to do amazing things. I told you yesterday, my metaphor for right now is I feel like we are at the end of the sport track, you know, in gymnastics. And we're like waiting, waiting, waiting to run down that track and run and sprint as fast as we can and then jump on the trampoline or the, you know, the mini tramp, and it's going to spring us into the air because we are just at the end of the track, just waiting for this like sprint to be let go. And I feel like everyone at Dira is being prepared for this launching, you know, that it is going to take us to places that we don't we can't even possibly imagine right now. And I'm so grateful to be doing it with you and all of our other fellow Dira people
grateful.
that we just love so much. And it's been such an incredible process.
So grateful. You know, they are saying that you need to wait for the good things to happen. Now the wait is over. Like,
Yes. Yay!
Alhamdulillah, you know how they say in
Yeah,
Oman.
exactly. Exactly. Oh my goodness. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Roxana. I wish you the most beautiful day.
The same. Love you. You have a day filled with unicorns and fairies and open chakras.
Amazing, amazing. And I wish you the same rainbows and love and dragons and fire. And yay! Okay, I love you.
Love you. Mwah.
Ciao for now.
Bye.